Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you around Pretend Story Structure panel, which can be found inside your library. Inside your Story Structure panel, you'll find your main media folder and of course your story structure. You can also find your tags panel, but we'll explore this topic in another video. At the top of your story structure panel is the project level, labeled by the name you've chosen for this project. Below your project level is your media folder, which contains all of the media you've imported into your project. The items panel to the right of your story structure will display all of the assets within whichever folder or group you have selected in your library. By default, the story structure panel does not display your media. That's in the items panel to the right. But if you'd like to change that, you can uncheck structure only in the library menu. There are several ways of importing media. You can either use Pretend's top bar menu by selecting File, then Import, then selecting Import Media. You can also drag media from your Finder directly into your media folder, or you can even drag media directly into a story group's item panel or timeline, and it will also be present in your media folder. Just know that however you've imported media into your project, it can always be found in your media folder. Depending on your type of project and whether you're using story groups or not, your story structure panel will contain different story groups, like shot groups and scene groups. Since I've imported a script for this project, you'll notice that all my scenes have been turned into scene groups as a starting point. To open a group's timeline, simply double-click on it in your story structure panel. From here, I can drag media from my media folder into their corresponding scenes or directly into a timeline. Each story group has its own timeline and is capable of containing its own set of media assets, so you can stay well organized. There are a few different ways of adding and deleting story groups. You can right-click within your story structure to access the story structure menu. Simply make sure that whichever group you want to add is within or at least equal to the story level you have selected. This means that to add a scene group, you need to have a scene level or show level selected. You cannot add a scene group when a shot level is selected, or add a show when your scene level is selected. These options are also available within your library menu, which is found at the bottom left of your library. Another way of adding story groups is by adding them directly to your screenplay. Pretend will recognize your new scene and create a new scene group for you. If you want to add a shot to your script, simply switch to shot mode and drag out your shots. These will also be displayed as their own shot group in your library. Lastly, you can drag and drop a story group to move it around in the story structure. For example, drag a scene up or down to reorder its position in your story. When you make changes to your story structure in your story structure panel, those changes will also be made in your screenplay editor's script and navigational panel, and vice versa. And now that your story groups are in order, you're ready to start editing.